Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto is in the Russian capital where he met and held talks with the Russian President Vladimir Putin. Prior to the talks, the Kremlin spokesperson underlined a few very important facts. Well, first and foremost, he stated that these type of contacts happen frequently and that generally the relations are developing intensively between the two nations. Vladimir Putin, after welcoming his Indonesian counterpart, stated and underlined some very important points about the relations between the two countries. Well, first and foremost, he stated that the trade turnover between Russia and Indonesia has grown by over 12%. He also underlined specifically that Indonesia has become a full-fledged BRICS member, and that will open the doors for further cooperation.
The strategic nature of our relations manifests itself primarily, of course, in the economic sphere. Indonesia has become a full member of BRICS, and this is another opportunity for cooperation, just like between Indonesia and the Eurasian Economic Union.
As we know, Russia and Indonesia cooperate in a number of fields, and this is something that has also been underlined by the Russian president. He also made it very specific that Russia and Indonesia cooperate in the field including energy, adding that foreign ministries of both countries are working intensively with one another. And according to reports, prior to Prabowo's state visit to the Russian capital, Indonesian foreign minister stated that the two sides will discuss the potential for Indonesia to buy Russian oil as an alternative source due to the current war in Iran and generally due to the global supply shortfall. Earlier, Indonesian president himself stated prior to his visit and prior to his talks with the Russian president, he stated that Indonesia is entering an awakening phase, emphasizing on stronger economic growth and rejection of this type of narrative of Indonesia in decline. The Indonesian president, on his behalf, also personally thanked Vladimir Putin and generally thanked the Russian president for all the help Russia is doing for Indonesia. And he also thanked for welcoming him in the Russian capital, given the fact that it was a very short-term notice given prior to his visit. And Prabowo Subianto also personally thanked Vladimir Putin for all the help he's done to Indonesia.
Maksud dan tujuan saya hari ini datang, intinya adalah untuk mengucapkan terima kasih kepada Presiden Putin, pemerintah Rusia, atas dukungan Rusia kepada Indonesia. Pertama, kami diterima begitu cepat di BRICS.
Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto also touched upon one very important topic, and that's the topic of financial transactions. And he stated that this area needs additional interactions, and he also made it very clear that he personally is willing to participate to speed up the process. We know from what he stated to Vladimir Putin is that the Indonesian president also met with a number of representatives from various Russian departments prior to his talks with Vladimir Putin. So, of course, from what's been said by both sides, the relations between the two nations are, of course, strengthening and developing, and both countries are, of course, set to take them further.
Jelajahi cara baru mendapatkan informasi. Download MetroTV Extend sekarang.